Hello, builders of the internet. Today I am playing automation and I have actually got a challenge ahead of me because I have to build the world's fastest type of vehicle, a rental car. And, when we're building cars to be as quick as these are, there's always going to be problems. Now, I think it has to be a hatchback personally because typical European rental cars are hatchbacks. In America, there might be other types like sedans or saloons, as you would call them. But I want a hatchback in this case. This one's a hatchback, more of a liftback, I would say. And it's far, far too long. These two, however, they're modern and they'll do the job. Again, that I think is a little too long. That one is a bit old for my tastes and not quite the right shape. So I think it's going to be one or two of the others. I mean, sorry about that. My mind was refusing to cooperate with the entirety of my face, as it kind of is now. So, yeah, things aren't all ideal in Core 2 Duo land. The panel material, I'll start reasonably high end, but then I'll lower it if I have to make a bit more market value out of it. So, we'll go with a standard unitary, AHS steel. Yeah, again, quite high end stuff, but we can always bring this down market should we have to. I don't think we want rear wheel drive, I think we want struts front, torsion beam rear. Because that's what I use generally on cheap cars. It's a good suspension system. It's a fully independent front system and a semi-independent rear system. Either way, we can move on to the engine, which I think it has to be an inline four. It's a boring type of engine, but rental cars always have inline fours, I mean, we can't fight with that mighty performance intentional, or can we? Actually, no. I was thinking of going 1200 cc's, which maybe an inline 3 is better suited to when we're talking this small, because it's kind of a downsized turbocharged engine unit, and that's why it's going to be as such. It'll be a tiny lightweight engine though, with only 3 cylinders. We could probably go with a Boxer 4 even if we wanted a slightly more interesting choice as dual overhead cam. I would say, actually, Boxer though, just looking at it here, I don't believe it's the easiest to maintain. And you have double the actual camshaft, so yes, it's going to be an inline 3-cylinder. Plus the size of the engine, naturally, it's small enough. I might only need 2 valves per cylinder as well, but twin cam is good, even if I don't use a full 4 valve per cylinder on it. I'm not sure at this point, so I'll just go with what seems to be the industry standard at this point, which is 4 valves per cylinder. And I am being incredibly boring right now. I mean, I want to do something crazy, but it's just not the kind of car for that. We can go with variable valve timing. It's not too ridiculously expensive. So, yep. Also, it works on less cylinders. I don't think that affects the cost, though. We need a turbo and a ball bearing. I discussed this with myself before, and myself says that's the setup we want. Very primitive exhaust system there, though. So, we want multi-point injection, I would say. Has to be incredibly efficient. We have to make a lot of power. Yeah, we also have to be efficient. Performance intake? No. Is it good? I don't know. If it performs better on the markets, then sure, I'll go with it. But if the standard intake does what I want it to on the markets, then that's what I'll use. We'll go with, hopefully, a good catalytic converter. We remove all the evil nasties from the exhausts, so it's nice and clean running. And see how we can rev it. At the standard dimensions I've got here, 9,200 is very good actually. And the power curve flattens out nicely. Unfortunately, it flattens out nicely with 11 horsepower. I think if I have about 111 horsepower, I will be very happy with it. So, you know, we don't have to worry too much since we're already over 100. It should just be breadcrumbs getting the last bits and bobs out of it. Just look at how smooth that power curve is, though. And I've barely even built this engine up. So, if we go for fuel economy again, because that's what I'm aiming for, but fuel economy with good performance and a lightweight chassis, presumably. It's under 100 now. What can I do here? There's got to be a way to balance it out. Ooh, yes, 6400. It's quite low RPM there. It makes peak power. I like that about it. And it makes 104 horsepower as its peak power. Turbo kicks in quite late actually at 2600 RPM. But it works. And it will hopefully continue to work in my favour. Can maybe... No. Can't extract much more power, if any. Can it rev higher? Does it want to? No. It could rev higher, but it doesn't want to. 7800 though. And more importantly, just look at how it holds that power. Even if it's only making just over 100 horsepower, the fact that it can hold the horsepower like a proper racing curve, that is very useful. Although, fuel mixture again, I want to go down for better economy. And the engine's going to end up how the engine will end up. It's at 100 horsepower now. I'm not certain how much power I will finish up with. It seems to be a fairly solid 100, maybe just over or just below. And we can go up with the exhaust, indeed we can. But bypass valves, yay. Because I like bypass valves because they enable you to fit a smaller exhaust. This needs quite a big exhaust actually to get rid of all those fumes it's putting out, but you know, as I was saying, it is an economy block. We can have a thingy. I think this is a BMW body, so this is kind of a coupe. The hatchbacks it was showing, I believe, were these two. 2009 hatchback, yeah. There's other variants, they're not the hatchbacks though, and I want to do a hatchback because rental cars are usually hatchbacks. I ideally want to do a 5-door hatchback as well, I'll mention that now. Quite a good looking body this, I will say that. I would normally do a 2-door if I was building something more sporty, but since this is not sporty, it's just a kind of economy car, then it's fine the way it is. As a 5-door. Can bring that forwards. Bring that forwards. Give it a bit more interior space. Makes it a bit more of an estate, I find, with what I'm doing. But that's fine because it's not about looks. It's about practicality. Now it looks like a Toyota Auris. Or Corolla, as you might call them in America. And I don't know what I've done with that rear window. I can't seem to fix it now. Can we bring that back? Yeah. Ah, yes. It's just up or down. I was going... I don't know. No. I don't know what's going on with it then. If we bring that back, we can have a bigger bottom on the car. But more crucially, having a bigger bottom will move weight backwards and hopefully not have it so front heavy. Why do I want that in a front wheel drive? I don't know. I just get used to doing it for every car, so best not to ask questions here. There is a convertible. Good luck getting that as a rental though, if they try and keep them cheap. Now, for the windows and stuff, I think we'll have black trim here because it's built down to a price. It's built to give you the best performance for your money. And yeah, we're not going to get the best performance for our money if we go adding all niceties like chrome. I mean, they kind of work. I don't know. I'll get some more mods from Workshop for design and try and design the thing later, but for now, these are what we've got as headlights. Perhaps due to change, I really don't know at this stage though. We can go with an automatic, sure. Stop people thrashing our rental car? No, we want a manual. It's a supercar of sorts after all. And we have front wheel drive. No option for all wheel drive, so I'm guessing they couldn't possibly fit it in the car. Is there enough space even? I want to see how tightly fit this engine is. No, we have to remove a body. It looks quite tight, but not really tight. I could be wrong there though. So what else do we have? Open differential. It's usually quite good for corners unless you're building cars with tons of stupid power levels, which I'm not in this case. We'll go with long life tyres. Keep it on the edge of handling and grip for more of the time. Do we want to flare the fenders? Probably not, if I'm entirely honest. Alloy wheels, sure. We can have the odd nicety here and there. And what else do we have? We'll have solid discs front, one piston, drums rear. See how it goes. Again, depends on how lightweight the vehicle is. No under tray. Markets are generally better if you have none. A 5-seater, yes, that's about right. We'll go with a standard interior and basic infotainment. Electric variable power steering, ESC. I don't think it'll need launch control. We'll go with standard safety. Not advanced. I think standard should do the trick. And we'll go with some suspension here. Just throw this stuff on. I think that should give us a good stuff. And passenger fleet, that is where we want it to be, indeed. So it delivers there, reliable for use as a taxi or company car, or in this case a rental. I don't like what those headlights are doing. Let's just hide them. It's got 102.5 horsepower, 56% front weight, and it weighs 1155 kilos. I won't lie, that is very impressive for a car of this size. Because remember, it is a slightly larger vehicle. And what have we got on markets? 83.3? 85.3. They do like double wishbones on the front. They don't like other things as such. But where are we? We're doing well for sportiness, less so well for comfort. So maybe that's why it jumps up so much when I put better suspension on. 11.7. Yeah, comfort gets a lot better. It's getting more expensive and the market doesn't like that. I'll be happy with a 90% there. And I think I know how I can do it. I think I'll have to just cheap out elsewhere. But with the suspension, you know, that's what's comfortable for the market. If that helps so much with the comfort, then so be it. Multilink doesn't appear to be that good for markets though. So why so many modern cars use it, I don't know. Double wishbone all round seems to be a better balanced technology than McPherson's strut front multi-link rear. I mean, I could always try that. That is 91.6. 93.1. So I think the results speak for themselves, unless of course it's much cheaper. So 88%. 87.4. Yeah. Indeed, it is cheaper and more effective. How can you complain about that? Now, the semi-space frame, 93.1, 96, and 92.8. Okay. 96 and 92.8. I must remember that. Yeah, galvanized steel is pretty good. Steel is apparently even better, but I buy ever so slightly, and I wouldn't want the chassis to go without any kind of corrosion protection, is what I'm saying. So, you know, even if it's not the best rust protection in the world, galvanized steel should do the trick. What about the chassis type? we've decided on that kind of, because semi-space frame only has aluminium. It's light truck unitary. That's 97.5, 94.6. Ooh. Although ever so slightly more expensive, it reckons the light truck system is better. Well, who am I to complain? The car thinks it's a light truck. You know, we'll sell it to rental agencies on the fact that everyone loves light trucks. We're getting very good for budget and very good for actual, how would you call it? I'm quite happy with this. How about partial aluminium? Does that help? So 95.9. Yes, partial aluminium does help. And then we can look at below that. We've got fiberglass and carbon fiber are kind of exclusive sports car things because you can't mass produce them. Not in this game, at least. I guess a Corvette in real life kind of mass produces them, but even so, it's a sports car. They only make so many of them. They're not exactly using it on every Vauxhall Astra, are they? Corrosion resistant steel is next down. So 98.8, 95.9. And treated steel. 99, 96.4. Okay. 99. Yeah, I think some of these are favoured just because they're cheap, to be honest. 99.1, 96.5. Yeah, the corrosion resistance is pretty terrible on this car. But hey, the markets love it. So who am I to complain? Ooh, that's odd. I don't know what I'm doing to the front here, but I'm kind of messing with the lights by doing it. Ooh. Yes, I can bring that out and kind of have my own little bumper. On the front end, that's quite a nice touch, actually. So, we have the rear as well. I don't think I can modify that in the same way. We have almost 100 on both factors. So, I think that's quite good. If I could tweak this engine as well to become slightly better, I would be very pleased with that result. So, the turbo and turbine are as small as they'll go. I'm guessing if I could run less boost but have better turbo settings, that would probably help. So, you know, I'll probably do this. I'll probably just go away and tune some of this stuff and then return because it'll make it a little bit easier than just trying to do it all now on camera. I have done the basis of what I wanted to do though. Oh, it looks so sad. Poor car. There we go. That's better. Better still. There we go. What do we have next? We have a 5-speed manual. I didn't really pay much attention to this. So, 96.4. Dual clutch. Do you like that like sometimes you have before? Yes, you do. 104.7. 106.6. I mean, if the market's desperate for an automatic, so I would give them an automatic. Although I don't particularly think it's the best idea when we're trying to build the fastest type of vehicle in the world. It works. 6-speed auto. Okay. It's doing over 40 miles per gallon. I'm pleased with that. 107.7. Come on, drink your fuel. Drink your fuel. 108. Ooh, look at that miles per gallon going up. This is excellent. I don't think that's half bad. 46.4. So there we go. 109 on the markets there. I'd like to sort out the budget slightly though. So I've got that where I want it. The budget though, that's something that I can't just rack the power up and fix it because there's more to it. Now, does the market love a geared differential? Ah, yes they do. It does cost them though. It costs them a fair bit. And I don't think it's a concession we can make. So, what's it from standard? It's 109. Electric is 109.7. And that's 108.9. That is 109.3. 108.9. I think we'll go with an electric differential unless the difference is so big. I don't know. Yeah, that is a pretty massive difference, although it does improve the market. I think I'll have to forgo it, to be honest. Built down to a price speaks volumes to this. I can go with all-wheel drive now, though. I wonder if they like that. No, they don't. I mean, it does add all-wheel drive. Adds weight, and I have actually added a lot of weight by changing my materials choice to steel. So it's now 1438 kilos. It is a heavy beast now. It's gone from being quite light to quite heavy. Do wider tyres help? So you can get wider. No. So try 195s. And then I can try better tyre compounds, which might help. 109.6, yes indeed. 110. The best thing about this though is it's going to cost me less, not more. So 110.6. These are really getting too narrow, I think. 110.9. Oh dear. Oh dear. Those tyres, would you trust them? I would not trust them. I would not trust my children with those tyres on this size of vehicle. So, they like hard long life as well. 10, 20. That's staying surprisingly static. I mean, I wouldn't trust the tyres, but automation apparently would. They would put 4 children in this car with these kinds of tyre widths. I'm not going below 155s. You can't make me, not in a car of this size. You can't force my hand, I'm sorry. Crazy as it might be. Does it actually want wider tyres now? Probably not, but you know. 110.8. That wasn't as much of an impact as I would have expected. 110.5. So, can we now use 175s? Maybe 185s. 110.5. If it's only small differences, I'm fine with it. No, I think 175s is probably a good balance, I must say. Thankfully, it's better than 155, so I can kind of semi-trust these tyre widths, even if it would be a bit tyre squealy at times. I think it's because it's got a 1.2 litre engine, and that's not pushing out much power. I think that's it. So the game just immediately assumes that it's going to be easy, if that makes sense. 110.7. Ooh, we can go with smaller wheels. So, try and make them about as big as I can before it starts complaining, which is 15 inches. There we go. They look small because they are, but we want it to filter out those bumps, you know, as we go 100 miles per hour off-road in this thing. So, yeah, there's only so much you can do within the limits. What brakes do we want? The brakes are going to get bigger. Ooh. Money saving! Money saving, yes, by using cheapo drum brakes on the front. Although it'll probably bite me in the butt when I find out how massive I have to make them to get anywhere. I think I could probably go with drums on the back, but I'm not sure. No, not drums. It's already got drums on the back. I mean, better than drums on the back. Disc brakes on the back. So 112.3. There we go. Is this going to be helped by having larger brakes on? Yes, it is. So in that case, try and put one piston on. Yes, indeed. Good. This is working. Although, wait. 95.9. 96. Okay. 96. I'm trying to think of how it is. Ooh. 113.3. So it likes drum brakes, even if the braking isn't actually any better than the standard brakes. It seems to just agree with them. I'm not sure why. I mean, how should I know the ins and outs of how automation works? But it likes the drums, so I will go with the drums and just sit along as it wants me to. 114. That's 205. Ooh. I've gathered slightly more braking force for the winter, I think. This is the most boring video ever. Why? I'm just stuck on the braking screen. You know, it's just how you get the markets. Now it's gone down and I don't know what to do. Those drums are massive though. I think if we look through here, there's some other bits and bobs we can change. Like those. They should do the job, but they look kind of aftermarket. I need some that look like cheapo wheels. They should do it, yeah. Or these. One of these two. I think these ones personally. They just shout rental car wheels. So there's also these ones. They all shout rental car wheels, that's for sure. Let's go with those. So 129 on fun budget. Where does all the fun come from? And how is it getting almost 50 miles per gallon despite weighing 1450 kilos? I've had lighter cars that don't get this kind of efficiency. I guess it's a turbocharger. Does it like a fully clad under tray? It would be very unconventional if it did. So 114.2. 114.9. Okay, it does actually like it on the markets, and it barely affects the budget by that much. So, yes, we'll have a fully clad under tray. Should give it even more miles per gallon. This is a monster of an engine. It really is. What have I built? It's just subtly very, very good. Anyway, almost 1,500 kilograms. Better weight balance than a lot of rear-wheel drive cars have. And 102 horsepower to pull it along. Not a lot by any means. Anyway, also, I could check the markets actually on the overhead cam. I forgot to do that. I mean the dual overhead cam. I'm probably going to keep it as a dual overhead cam, but maybe I'll have less or more valve per cylinder. 114. They didn't like that, but I think it's mainly the drop in power they didn't like. The budget did agree with it. 95.4. 115.4. Yes, the market likes that, but again, I think it's just a boost in power that they actually like. So then there's the overhead cam. Because I've got very good fuel efficiency though, I think what I want to do, I want to cut the engineering time by doing this, as well as the cost by having a 2 valve per cylinder turbocharged inline 3. And then I will also make it bigger to kind of regain my losses. I'll make it about 1250 cc's, whereas this will still count legally, I think, as a 1200cc engine. So, you know, that's a thing I've done. 6300 RPM. I can adjust this, hopefully. 6600. 69. I'm paying attention to make sure the curve is smooth. I'm not paying much attention to what RPM it's making the power at, because that's not really my business in worrying about, if that makes sense. So it does get stronger on the end if I move that. I think about 67 should give me a very solid power delivery. So there we go, less valves per cylinder, but technically a very similar engine otherwise. Maybe that saved a bit of money while also making a better engine. And VVT isn't on all cams as well. I mean, look at that, that was hitting the market quite hard. I've fixed that now. I might be able to get 110 horsepower of it, which will definitely help with the extra weight, whether the game's deciding to acknowledge it or not. I just fear what I've done to the economy now may not be good. I have enough spare RPM, so yeah, I can actually rev this a little higher actually, and I think it's probably got more of a usable curve, should that make sense to anyone. See, so I'm easily 1000 RPMs in the green. How about performance? How does that change? They don't really like it. How about per cylinder? Yeah, that really just undoes what I did with the entire valves per cylinder reduction exercise, to be honest. Right, have I destroyed the miles per gallon that this engine was capable of? I've certainly hurt the market. Unintentionally, of course. It is... Yes, it is hurt. So, actually, by doing the inverse of that and adding valves per cylinder, I guess that's what I'll have to do. By doing the inverse, adding valves per cylinder and lowering the cam profile, I should be able to gain efficiency. I considered other options, as you saw, but it just didn't work in my favour, as I was hoping it would work in my favour. The extra valve per cylinder is really going a long way here. So 110, there we go. Makes its peak power at 7,000. It makes 100 RPM. No, it makes 100 horsepower, which is less than it was before. But that's fine, because I'm able to adjust ignition timing and get loads of power you don't normally get from adjusting ignition timing. So I guess all that's left now is to go away for a short while and try and fix the engine and then return. And also, I have fixed the miles per gallon, as I was expecting it would be. So here I have the slightly modified version of the car. If I just scroll along, I can show you. You'll see I've got multi-link suspension rear instead of double wishbone. I found later that worked well when I was playing around with things. Weight balance is more or less unchanged, and it is now a unitary construction as opposed to the unitary light truck it was before. It is a 5-door, as it was before, and it's got 180 horsepower from a 5-valve per cylinder engine. I mean, I probably don't need to go over all of this stuff. You'll see it's passenger fleet here. It's got 95% affordability, which is a number I was happy with. It was the next target number I went for after 90 because I was sure I could reach it after enough trying, so I did try and I did reach it. This is a 1250cc really in line 3, although it rounds down to 1200, so I guess for insurance reasons and stuff it is a 1.2 litre engine. I do need to fix the design, I'm going to do that now. It gets 52 miles per gallon almost, which is very, very impressive. As you'll see on the markets, whereas it's 52 miles per gallon, it's very, very good for a market I'm trying to compete in. I mean, it's apparently more competitive in commuter budgets, but then look at how affordable it is, not very affordable. So that's why I decided for passenger fleet, because a lot of people can afford the car in that category if I make a few minor changes to make it cheaper. Suspension is a standard progressive gas monotube system, and the sway bars are just passive. I tried semi-active, but it didn't really improve it at all. I basically used the comfort preset, but I stiffened up the rear springs a little as it was asking me to do that when I lowered it, which I did because I thought it was too high off the ground to begin with, and I think it looks a bit more reasonable like this, and it doesn't really hurt the market, so, you know, I might as well run it a bit lower, especially since we're going around corners at, you know, crazy kinds of speeds, with it being one of the fastest types of cars in the world. I did ultimately go for basic 10 safety. It saves weight, and, you know, that is very useful in terms of miles per gallon. It's useful in terms of acceleration. Having a lighter car, it actually has a lot of uses. The interior is still standard with basic infotainment because that's all the class wanted. I mean, rental cars, you're not going to want the most advanced car in the world because you have to maintain them for a start. If all the electronic gizmos are going wrong, then that's going to cost you money. And then there's the money that it's going to cost to actually order a car that's spec'd with them in the first place. So that's probably why we have the solid disc brakes on the rear and vented discs on the front. They're tiny, tiny brakes if we just look under the car now. You can probably see them. I have used those because the drum brakes I tried before, they added a lot of weight, and again, weight hurting miles per gallon, weight hurting the overall acceleration. I mean, for a 1.2 litre engine, I think 12.1 seconds is pretty good acceleration. I think it's about where the Ford Focuses and Vauxhall Astras and kind of things are for the acceleration front, so that's pretty good. Miles per gallon, I would say, is also competitive with them, 51 miles per gallon, although they probably have more efficient variants. It's definitely not bad for the class, so I'm happy to leave it at this. We have all of the other bits here. It actually has some utility. I'm amazed by the fact that it has some utility because my cars usually don't have any kind of utility. Safety is also very low because the safety features are not very advanced, let's say the least, just they're very basic. Now, I do like the auto though, although it is an automatic on this car, because that's what the market wanted, it does generally keep the power band quite high up. You'll see, for the most part, the power is kept over 90 miles per hour, 90 horsepower, sorry, which is pretty useful. It's almost CVT-like even here, which is, as you remember when I drove the Sunburst CVT in Stereo Mountain Hill Climb, the CVT was very useful for keeping the power in the power band, and this is a similar ordeal. Keep the power there, keep the power at that point so you can just consistently deliver. And that's why it's able to achieve a 12.1 second 0 to 60, I think, because it's able to keep the power in the higher kind of areas, as well as the torque, I guess you could say, although the torque probably will drop off a bit. Yeah, torque begins to drop off, so it's somewhere there. Torque, there's enough of it though. There's enough torque, definitely. And just look at how smooth this engine is. I don't think I've let you hear it, so I'll let you hear it now. also mentioned I could probably get more economy out of this engine if I desperately wanted to, but I think for now it's good enough. And ooh, can I actually... I've not adjusted this in a while, so I'm just wondering if I can come back to it and extract a bit extra power. No. Okay, so other than the intercooler being a bit lower horsepower, I think, and the ball bearing, which I chose, this is just a standard fuel economy set turbocharger, and I've adjusted the rest of the engine around it. I mean, just look at that power curve. I can't find a complaint with it, so why would I need to change it? There's a few other things here, yes, multi-link and all that. We've gone through it, I think, what we changed there. So the one thing to do now is probably what everyone's been waiting for, to sort the design out. Now, I did look on Workshop for some extra lights. I think I've downloaded them all, at least for this version of the game. And they're kind of frosty. That's like early 90s, late 80s kind of ideas of design, so we don't really want that. These would work quite well. I know they're quite an obvious headlight design to go for on a modern saloon car, but I think they'll work, so, you know, can you fault my logic? Probably not. Come on, you can just find your way through like so. I think these should include indicators, even if they appear to be all just headlights. Can we have a smiley? Turn that frown upside down. Sorry, it's a terrible pun I just couldn't help using. It just doesn't work here either, but it might work down there. No. Okay, so there's a bunch of grills, a lot of them actually, which we could add on to this car. This does not seem to like the fact that I'm adding one though. Come on. Will he work? Yes, he will actually sit there quite nicely. Maybe it's just the curvature of it that helps. As long as I don't go crazy, because it is cutting into a bumper at a weird angle, but I think it can go largely unnoticed. And as I said, there's indicators in those headlights. I just need to go and sort the main grille out. What do we have here? Ooh. This is perhaps going to work. I have no idea. I'll have to try it before I am certain. Try and expand that upwards just a little. And we can bring these on top. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I think that looks quite nice as a overall front. Could probably change that slightly. Yeah, there we go. Do we want the chrome on there? I kind of feel like we don't. Chrome. No, carbon fibre. No, it's carbon fibre. Why can't my mind get this stuff together? Either way, what do we have here? Ooh. I think this one. I think this will be a good badge. I've kind of gone up market with the exterior, just a little. But it works, you know. I could build something a lot more horrible than this. That's for sure, so... I'm not complaining, is all I'm saying, because the car could come out a lot worse than it is coming out right now. It's almost got a boot there, but it's a hatchback. Yay! Do we want a scoop? No, it's a sensible mobile. It's a dad car. In some ways, it is a dad car, as so they call them. Lip, we need a front lip. No, not that one. Whatever that is. I think I put one of these on something before. And if you paint it black, it makes kind of quite a nice cheapo plastic lip spoiler. So, the kind you would get on this type of rental car, for example. Because it's not a proper performance car, it's just a cheaper rental vehicle. If I could actually... I don't know. Do I want some fog lights in the in the kind of bumper I've created. So if I could grab some, these ones, yes, indeed. Make them smaller. There we go. They are kind of fog lights integrated into the bumper, which I think are quite nice looking, personally. Although, again, they're probably integrated into there. But I can't use indicators since those things are probably indicators, so I would just be replicating even more. Why have I added carbon fibre again? I don't know. I'm thinking of it as a sports car, aren't I? But it clearly isn't a sports car. Anyway, it's sorted now. It's just plastic, as it should be. We can add these standard door handles. I think they're Volkswagen Audi Group door handles. So flip them over. And round you go. Whoops. Come on. I think I want it to flick just there, like so. I say these are Volkswagen Audi Group door handles. Basically every car these days uses them. I'm just familiar as my dad's Volkswagen Audi Group vehicle has them. So that's the obvious explanation as to where I get that from, because it's a relatively modern car and all. Come on. There, you can just sit there. I'm not really content with that angle. There we go. I'm now vaguely contented with it. So you can go there. Even if it is a bit off, I guess it will have to do. There's only so much I can do in a day with this car design. Automation. Right, so what do I do with the rear bumper? Because I've done something with the front bumper there, with the vents. I don't really want to add unnecessary vents. I think all I can do is just add what look like reflectors or indicators of some kind. So, I think they work. Where is the blue? No, that won't work. We need to be orange on the outside. There we go. Maybe a little more old-fashioned, but if it works, it works. There's not too much to say. And, okay, tail lights. Don't fail me now, brain. I still have work to be finished. Yes, let's have some ridiculous Alfa Romeo lights on the back. These ones. Because they look more modern to me. Okay. How are you? How are you sitting? I think I can just about accept this. The front looks good. The back, kind of vomit-inducing, let's be honest. We also need a rear wing. Only a small one, though, because it is a rental car. This is a floating wing. No, that one won't do. Ooh, this one looks small. Come on. Sorry, I don't know why my PC is lagging. 10-year-old hardware, and I don't know why my PC is lagging. But seriously, it works on absolutely everything else, and then suddenly I try and drag on automation, and it slows the old Xeon down. Right, I think we can flip this. There we go. Come on, you will have a bit of a picnic table on the back. Table. I don't know. So you can go. No. I don't know. He doesn't want to fit. Should I go with some slightly crazy wing? No. That'll do, okay? I know I've just stuck it there, like, right at this moment, but I know what I did wasn't perfect, but I'll have to deal with it because the other wing was not complying with me. It does go against the wheels, rather. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we have the car done and ready. How about the differentials, actually? I haven't looked back at them in a while. How do they affect me now? No, it doesn't seem to like them anymore. Kind of does, but not enough. Either way, time to export this to Beam after we have chosen a colour, actually. The vehicle is very almost ready. After we've chosen a colour, rather, and a front number plate, so we need automation on the front. I normally wouldn't add a front number plate if I'm working with my own bumper bars because it wouldn't work. It would just cut in and out and do weird things. But with this bumper, it works fine. Gives me a place to mount the number plate, and just look at how lovely it is from the front. It's just so beautiful from the front as far as the modern cars go, and then the rear, it just becomes a complete mess. Mainly because I don't have the lights I would actually desire to do it to my proper standard. So I have to work with what lights are available, which aren't the lights I would use normally. We'll have perhaps a two-tone vehicle. All car slot we can have in brutal black, and then we can go with maybe secondary body. Come on, prime. Oh, unless. No. Primary body and secondary body. Okay. Oh. Because it's a weird unitary design, it doesn't work in the same way as some of the classics did. Okay. Add a random new design. I think this is the one. And what can we add in here? Modify. I don't know. Maybe that colour? Would you call it burgundy? There we go. I don't know. It looks kind of like a rose pinky colour to me. It works, I think. I've not spent too long developing it, so yeah, I'm not going to go wild on it. Thing is, that's not technically the bumper. I've just thought of it that way. Like, technically that bit there that I've made look like a bumper isn't a bumper. It just looks like it. The entire front end there, as you'll see it goes around the headlights, is the bumper. So I can't paint that individually in case you get that idea. And all trim slots we do, or do we want that? Plastic, yeah. Just paint all the trim in plastic. Wheel slots. Brutal black. No. Plastic. I don't think they work. I don't think they work, but steel doesn't really work either because they're kind of real covers. Carbon fibre. Yeah, just paint them like that. Burgundy. I'll have to just, I don't know. Chrome, yes, I'll chrome them. Even though there's no chrome on the rest of the car. No, plastic. Okay, that'll have to do. Because I'm not making another colour now. It'll just mess up my selection of colours when I have this many already saved. There we go. I don't think it's done too bad a job. Anyway, time to export and see what time it can set around the time trial course against other vehicles that I've created. Okay, so here we are at the gravel circuit with a slight confession because I did already do 2 laps in this car and I realised I'm supposed to do 3. So that was awkward. But you know, I don't want to throw it on the leaderboard without having a proper try of it. So I'm going to have to give myself another try. I mean, anyway, I'm seeing modern Nissan Pulsar in this now. And yeah, it's a very strangely shaped car after I've done my body forming with it. Anyway, let's get going and see what the future holds. Off we go. So, remember it's an automatic, a full automatic. I can't control shifting myself. So that is definitely going to play into it. If I make another stupid mistake, that will not help. As I have made another stupid mistake. Me and my stupid mistakes, come on. You have to use quite a bit of turning lock to actually get anywhere. It's got electric steering, so I don't know how that differs specifically from hydraulic, but, you know, it does feel understeery. It just feels like a boat, which is essentially what it's supposed to be. It's on soft suspensions, after all. Inside line here, come on, back to the inside line, and we carried that nicely, but not at particularly high speeds. I mean, this isn't going to be a classic rally car anytime soon, it's just too heavy for that with the power it's got. I mean, it's a good economy car, don't get me wrong, and it's not slow at that, but it's not a rally car. Although maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that it's not designed to be fun over these kinds of dirt and bumps and things. Whoa, that was very wide. But it's a 117. That is very, very good for a starting lap. And yes, again, we're running onto this corner now, so don't want to run too wide. Although I did feel like I ran too wide there. Disappointing. Hopefully my 3rd lap can hold some kind of secret mystical power that I can use on my favour. Come on. I mean, again, it deals with these bumps incredibly well, I'll say that now. The Legrand did deal with them quite well, although I think it felt a little lumpy, maybe because I was in the interior view of that car. And round we go. Come on. Going wide on this course, but the suspension, being cushy as it is, deals with it. So we have no problem there. Come on, delicately, delicately. Not delicately, too much. Come on. I feel I might not have been the quickest through there, but the thing is I can learn. The 2nd lap, I'm still learning, remember. And I've thrown it all away. Okay, just check the front end of my car is okay. I think it is. Right, I think thankfully that is just the open differential. Come on. I do want to resume this one. Okay. It looks a lot more wrecked than it is. Now, I'm sure damage has been done, but I'm amazed slightly, just looking at that front end, that there is a steering rack. And yes, I am going around the wrong way. I'm doing it for a good reason, so I can find a turning spot. There we go. As I was saying, it is going to be damaged now, but I'm going to hopefully try and use this to my advantage. First lap was good for a first lap, but it was still for a first lap. I'm going to have to give this 3rd lap my all now in an attempt to kind of recover some of what has been lost. As I was slightly scared there, just jumping that mud bank. Could have done a lot worse. Oh, come on, come on. I've hit something, but I'm keeping going. I'm persisting, as is the car. The poor old car. No, the car I don't think wants to persist. I don't even know which way is up anymore. Steering wheel is just moving. Come on. Come on, this way, this way. I'm guessing a wheel is flapping round. Okay. The car has given up. So, I've decided to give this car the fairest chance. I'm going to use the best of the 2 laps I did before, which one was a 113.8 exactly, because that was just a good lap with the car, and I decided, you know, it's fair, you know. It's probably not gonna do any better anyway. So, what there is on the leaderboard just above it is just over 0.3 of a second ahead is the Leguan base model, and it is also above Cedric Mark 1. So we've beaten Cedric, that's for sure. It is the second fastest front wheel drive, third fastest front wheel drive, sorry. I believe the Not Ford was the first fastest. And it's for an economy car, it's okay, you know. The fact that it was beaten by a Leguan is quite disappointing because the Leguan is an older car, but then so be it, because the Leguan was also most likely a lighter car with more cylinders. Or maybe not light, I don't know. They're quite similar cars and they're set at quite similar times. But Leguan did it with less power though. So I have to say that's a disappointment. It promised so much, yet delivered so little. Anyway, with this being said and done, if you own a rental agency, buy Leguans. They're faster. Anyway, goodbye until another day.